Yeah, all right. So, my apologies for the wait on this second half of Satan Despises All of Us Equally. It's taken a little while because I've been taking a lot more time to study and research so that I can present my videos to the rest of you with as much of what I have learnt before and after the fact, because who I was when I took the notes that I have in front of me is not who I am now. Okay, I've learnt a lot between that man and this man, and if I seem slightly distracted or unnatural, I do apologise in advance. It's just because I'm trying to read what I've written up and against what I've wrote. Um, I've done my best here, but I've got together all the evidence that makes me feel ready to do this second half. Again, simply, as always, based on my opinion of what I feel I know. Okay? It might not be what you feel you know, but I'd be lying if I didn't tell the truth. So, truth of what I believe this is all about. I'll start with this. Brothers and sisters, don't ever fool yourself that you're impenetrable to sin. You're not. Lest you be fooled by it. I mean, do you really think you're the exception? I thought I was. I'm not. You have to keep in mind that this fucking abomination was so clever and so charismatic and, and captivating. Yeah. Before he became rude and lewd and crude, he managed to convince a third of the angels. A third of them. These angelic beings. The things that we can't even fathom. He convinced a third of them to not only defile their very nature and bite the very hand that fed them, but also to single-handedly corrupt the first of us all the way up to now. It does not matter how pure of heart, body, mind, or soul you or I may be. Once again, if you are human, if you are a human being, then you are susceptible to temptation. Just the way it works. One or the other, one way or another, everyone has a vice. Okay? It doesn't mean you have to give in to it. There is nothing stronger in any single man or woman than the resistance and standing up to him and saying no to it. To deny what you know excites you, attracts you, arouses you, turns you on, rather than be in denial that it even does. This world is purgatory, you know? It's limbo. It's not quite hell. We're stuck. We're in the middle. It all belongs to him. It all belongs to him. And so do you if you don't fight against his system. Its system. I'm going to stick with he through this lecture because I believe it would be easier for us to get through it. But as I've stated before in previous videos, I consider Satan to be a lot closer to a female than a male. Okay, he's androgynous. He's hermaphroditic, but more feminine than masculine, in my opinion, in my experiences. But we'll stick with. I'll tell you what, we'll stick with it. Okay, it. So if you don't fight its system, you belong to it too. Okay, we all do. We don't, but we start to believe we do. He starts to believe we do, and then we're fucked. It's all a test. None of this is real. Okay? So this is how, and I know I'm going to get a lot of shit for this, but hopefully I can be so bold as to ask you to bite your lip. Not your tongue, your lip. You know what I mean by that? I'd never take away someone's speech, someone's opinion, so I'd really appreciate if it wasn't taken away from me in return. Bear with me. You don't agree, you don't agree. I don't expect you to, but I do hope that you'll be able to at least see where I'm going with this without it just coming across as sheer blasphemy, because that is how deep the rabbit goes with this sense of religion, I suppose. Religion gets in here, it doesn't get in here. Faith gets in here, and it doesn't get in here. See the opposites? So this is how a God, and I'm reading notes here, okay, because I want to get this right. They're all mine, they're all very carefully written up with as much care and consideration to the points of view of others as I can put in place without sugarcoating my own. Okay? Because that cookie cutter crap is not going to get us anywhere. This is how a God could drown the whole world and not bat an eye, and at the same time command us, thou shalt not kill. Okay? Or declare that he is a jealous God. And then, on the other hand, tell his children not to covet thy neighbour, or influence Abraham to sacrifice his own son, and in turn, of course, sacrifice his own son on the cross. As blasphemous as that might sound, if you watch my channel, if you listen to my channel, then you know that I have faith, I have hope, and I do believe I don't like using the word God. I don't like using the word God because it's the same as Jesus. These are names that were not, they're not the right titles. They're not. Okay? They were put in place by the ones that worship it. Alright? Trust me on this one. In fact, don't trust me on this one. Trust yourself for instinct, because I don't like asking people to trust me. I don't like people asking me to trust them, as I've said before. You shouldn't need to ask of it. I take that back. I say it because I can sense, and always have been able to, that something isn't quite right with them names. And when you look into it, you'll find out why. I won't be able to get it across as well as some of the researchers have to me, and probably will to you, but I'll certainly give it a go. Okay? It's because the things that I've just mentioned are not the works of the true creator. Okay? They're not. Does it sound like they would be? Of course not. It's the works of this hypocritical, hermaphroditic, as I said, psychopathic, parasitic, cannibalistic L. Okay? Kronos, the Grim Reaper, Father Time. That's who it is. It's Saturn, it's Satan. Okay? I don't want to offend people, but it's also Jehovah. But it's not who you and I feel in our hearts. It's not the same. Okay? You must feel that, right? That goodness, that purity, that truth. So, those of you that ask, and I've heard it my whole life, I've been asking it myself my whole life. You know, why does God allow Satan, why does God allow Satan to do what he does? Everyone asks that question. They have every right to as well. That's not blasphemous. Okay? The answer, my opinion, the answer is the same answer to why he allows us to do what we do. To ourselves, to each other, to the earth. Free will, ladies and gentlemen. That's the answer. Because of free will, the one true creator would be no better and just as bad if he himself tried to control free will of any of his children. You, me, and even Satan. Do you get it? It breaks down the tabernacle by doing so. My opinion. So moving on. Yeah, just from the research that I've done myself over the years, I've noticed that in the earliest depictions of artwork, the devil was always portrayed with blue skin rather than red. Okay? As I said, hell is an icicle realm. Okay? It's not one of immolation. A lot of the artwork even displays a god in heaven handing down sinners to a devil in hell, almost as if they were working together. I do that deliberately, okay? I'm trying to show you, because I've seen people do that and they're not the right people. They're not the people like you and I, you know? But they're doing it because they want that joining. I'm doing it because I'm showing you why it's joined, okay? Okay. Almost like they're working together. This is because they are one and the same, okay? Not the true creator and Satan, never. But this idealism, okay, they're one and the same. And we'll get to why in a minute, or at least why I feel I know. You should never think. You don't need to, you know. When you think, it's the limbo of heaven and hell, in my opinion, because you've got what you feel and what you know. Sometimes they can flip round, but when you think, you're in the middle. You're thinking about what you feel and you're thinking about what you know. Understand? So this is all about what I feel I know. Maybe I'm wrong. I will never say that I'm right. So I really, truly hope that part one as well as part two doesn't offend anyone, because it is not my intention. It never would be or has been. Okay? But I know this is a very delicate, fragile, touchy subject. Hell is a deranged dimension of infinite categories in thirst and hunger that can never be quenched nor fed. It's starvation of the soul, okay? Spiritual famine. Satan wants you to feel exactly what he, she, it feels. And so hell is a construct of its own constitution. You get that? It wouldn't be anything else, would it? He's hacking it. He's building it. The great works, as they call it. Yeah? That's why they call themselves masons, builders, in his image, the same way we are in the creators. It's all monkey see, monkey do. You can even throw an evolution pun in there too. So, yeah, this is where the myth of the vampire, the werewolf, comes into play. You know, trying to fill their vortex void, as I call it. You know, a black hole heart. It's an appetite that can never be satisfied. That's what Satan has. So you also have to take into account that evil does not consider itself nor what it does to be evil. Okay? It's all opposite to this this abomination. What else can you call it? Look what it's done to us. It truly is the enemy of humanity. Maybe the only enemy of humanity. It only makes us think, there's that word again, think, that we're the enemy to each other. Who do you think's the one spreading the fucking rumours so that we turn on each other? So the countless amounts of testimonies describing a carnival-like fairground in hell, is significant to me in terms of Satan's immaturity and hatred for mankind. To him, the agony, the suffering, the torture, the despair, it's simply an act of vengeance, which is justified by the unbearable pain of rejection that it undergoes even to this day from its pride before the fall. It's getting back at us to get back at the Creator, at its Father. It's attacking its children. The Father is attacking the Creator's children and pretending that we belong to it. We don't. Again, I'll get to that in a minute. When we hear, say, a noise from another room next to the one that we're in, okay, we turn our heads to see it, don't we? Even though we know there is a wall in the way, right? So the same way we can't see love, but we definitely feel it, don't we? Or the same way that we cannot see radio transmissions, the airborne viruses that exist within the atmosphere. Still know they're there, don't we? Right, okay. Well, so is Satan. Okay? We can't see because we don't have the same eyes to do so. But we're learning to, aren't we? If you ever watch footage of a riot or, well, a fight in general, or see it in person, you'll notice a certain spark of viciousness that almost intoxicates the opponent. That is it. Okay? That is it. You can see it. You can see that it's through anger and they're fighting, they're giving it all this, and all of a sudden there's this invocation right between the lines. That's where you'll find him, her, it. So, sorry, I know I'm talking slow in this one. I'm trying to let all this sink in, not just for your own benefit, but also for mine, because I'm still learning and I'll never say that I've stopped. I feel like you should always have the you should always have the attitude like you've just started rather than you're just ending when it comes to educating yourself or being educated by others, as a matter of fact, you know. But I'll try and speed up a little bit. The ums don't help. See, psychopaths use ums as disfluencies. It gives them time to think about what to say next. But I use them. I don't use them, they use me. Otherwise, I say the wrong thing. And I think it's very important not to say the right thing. What would that be? If it's your opinion, my opinion. But to say what I feel, I know, how I see something or someone, including myself. Right, so, yeah, okay. Satan is just as invisible as what I've mentioned, and yet very visible. Just because you can't see something does not mean it's not there, okay? This is why they call it the Prince of the Air, okay? She pulls all the strings of every media frequency. Okay. This is why people have always believed that heaven is above us, in the air. You see? It's also why they've believed that God is a bearded old man. That's what I used to believe when I was a child, how I pictured the Creator to look. You see what they've done to us? That is Satan, okay? That is Kronos. That is not a true sense of goodness, of love, mercy, forgiveness. You pray to it, and it takes all the credit for the goodness that we believe it's granting. And then it passes on all the responsibility of the evil that it actually commences by incepting the notion of how can God let this happen if he even exists? You see? You see what they're doing? What they've done? And what they'll continue to do? That is the greatest trick that the devil ever pulled. Not the one to make you think that that it doesn't exist. The greatest trick that the devil ever pulled, in my opinion, is making you and I believe that the Creator doesn't exist. Okay? So, this is the satanic Saturnian psyop to trick you into worshipping the father of lies, Satan. Now, you'll hear me very commonly, very oftenly instruct that it's best to swap and switch things around with evil, because that's what they usually do. They've already flipped it. You flip it back, it's where it was originally, you see. However, do not be mistaken that all things are opposite. Okay, I'll give you an example, because if that first psyop doesn't work and it falls through, the elites use this as a secondary psyop to the primary. Okay, just in case, just as a safety net, like the one they've got around our fucking Earth. Okay, the grid, so to speak. So if you ever learn, as I say, that the primary psyop is a psyop, they have this secondary one as a backup. Okay, they will try to say that because the God of the Old Testament happens to be Kronos and you now realize it, therefore the snake is the true teacher of knowledge against Father Time, Kronos. Okay, it is not, but that's how they get round that one. Okay, do not fall for it. That phrase as well, by the way, the phrase, to fall for something, don't fall for it. There's a reason why it's that word, fall. Okay, they use that for a very good reason, and like I've said before, they are one and the same. The snake and Kronos. Okay, Satan, evil. As I said before, it's not a question of religion. It's a question of emotion. You know? If you're a true human being, then you will know. You can join the two, what you feel and what you know. Okay? That's what you should be joining, not the shit that I'm talking about. Because that's the shit that they're trying to join. And it won't fucking stay stuck. This was meant to stick. Once it does, you see clearly. Okay? So I'm talking about goodness and evil. It doesn't have to be God and the devil, although I hate both terms because it is good and evil, as we've spoken of before. It's wordplay. That's why I try not to use them. That's why I say creator instead. Okay? Doesn't have to be to do with, just feel what's good and evil. Interpret what I'm saying that way if you don't believe in a creator. Okay? But don't tell me you believe in one and not the other. It doesn't work like that. Not for me. Yeah, half an hour. All right. I know I'm talking a lot, and I know that it's a lot to take in. But it needs to be taken on board, at least, I believe. Uh, yeah, right. So Satan wants to place his throne above the Creator's one. Okay, it's something that was mentioned in Scripture also, that he wants to above the stars. Okay, you have to remember he remains a fallen one, a fallen star. He always will. You can't climb back up. Okay, so as I said, falling and rising does not necessarily mean to fall, to rise. Okay, you can fall and rise in yourself. You know, you let yourself down when you've fallen, right? You make up for it. You make amends. You forgive yourself. You take your comeuppance. paid you penance, you rise. Do you see where I'm going? I'm not preaching to anyone, alright? I want that to be made crystal clear, not diamond clear. So, yeah, he wants to place himself within the hexagon of the sideways cube, right in the middle of the Star of David, between the masculine, yeah, when they do that, the masculine triangle and the feminine triangle. Of course, you put them together, that's what you got. Okay? The Star of David. He is a star. He wants to be in the middle. Okay? It's also why they call celebrities stars. They're all in on it. It was conspiracy. It's not a fucking conspiracy. It's a toddler could work it out. They don't try and hide it. They really don't. But that's for. I don't go into celebrities and shit because it's small fry to me. It's small potatoes. You know, it's not the fucking cockroaches in comparison. You know, it's not. It's not going to cut out the cancer. Okay, they're just little side effects of the medication you take to hold it back. Okay. Yeah. All wordplay, even conspiracy. I don't work in conspiracy. Neither should you. That's what they want. Makes you seem mad when we're anything but. We couldn't be more sane, could we? Yeah. So this is why Satan is androgynous, like the Patsy Baphomet. Okay. Yeah. But you can only build. It can only build its temple in between the male and the female, as I said, in between us, and bring us together, which is what all this all this transhumanism agenda is, and all this transgender agenda is. Okay. He can only build his temple between man and female by knocking the fathers down. His father has a temple. That temple is us. It's our bodies. Okay. That is why he does everything in his power to influence us to abuse them. Okay? By cutting bits off of them and putting other bits on. Alright? By putting fluoride in the water, by putting human meat in our food. You know, RFID chips beneath our, in our skin, and metal in our veins, and MK Ultra in our brains. Once our biology changes, there's no way for goodness to get in there. Okay, it's a permanent rearranging of our cells, of our DNA. Once we do that, we're essentially corpses. I mean, we can't. We're cut off from the universe. I don't know how else to put it. So that's why they want to. That's why they want to merge us, as I said before, splice us, as I mentioned before, gel us, and connect us up with machines. But I will be making a video on artificial intelligence next, so I will stop there and continue. We are near the end. As I said, I do apologise for my lack of speed in this one, but I believe that some things should be taken slowly, depending on how important they are. So, hell is not below us. Okay, I've stated this before, that his seat resides beneath our feet. And when I've said it, I have always meant it metaphorically and figuratively. Okay, because the mere and sheer fact that us humans were put before him proves that, does it not? That is what triggered this family feud to begin with. We were put first, even though they were made first. You see? It was their test. And now Satan's will is our test to see if we can keep our own will. Evil. Don't give in to it. Don't give in to evil and don't give up on goodness. Once you do, there's no going back. And there shouldn't be, should there? Because if there was, then some of the most vile acts that have made you and I lose faith before in humanity, they'd all get away with it. The people that have hurt you, hurt me in the worst ways, hurt the ones we love in even worse ways, they'd all get off the hook. Ties into what I mentioned before about the creator. Why doesn't he just stop all this? Stop all this chaos, this violence, stop us from murdering each other, raping each other, and more and most importantly, stop Satan from doing what he does to cause us to do them things to each other. That's why. Okay? It's all or nothing. Yeah, so my sibling soldiers, we are smack bang in the middle of this. So, in closing, whatever you choose to believe or not believe, always remember and never forget: the destroyer subtracts and divides, and the creator adds and multiplies. Okay? Thank you very, very, very much for bearing with me through this, and I honestly hope that this has given some sense of understanding and overstanding rather than offence to cause defence. Okay? I wish you all the very best. See you next time.